I've laid out all the components to install our GPS into our frame cover. A copper shielding, mounting tape, the GPS, and this is the GPS with the active antenna. It's larger and much deeper than the older passive style shielding on the back of the GPS antenna. Plus it has a nice black. If you were going to mount it on the outside of something, it would match very well with the rest of the XAircraft equipment. It's a shame to hide this up in there, but it works really well this way, so hiding is okay. And we're going to use X-Acto for some trim during the final finishes of mounting this, and a pair of scissors throughout the job. First thing we're going to do, I just cut these ends off here, and this is all I use to mount the GPS antenna with. You don't even need that much length. I'll show you why in one moment. Put these long ways down the very edge of our GPS antenna on both sides. Garbage away. And that's 41 there. 2 pieces of tape down each side. It's going to mount here, and it wouldn't matter if you had tape in the middle. There's a groove right under the rest of the center. I'm going to push this a little right at the center and forward a little of center. And I'll have room to wrap my cable, my coax cable, in behind it, and I'll show you how we're going to do all that. So let's go ahead and get this stuck down. I'll show you there's a grounding process to ground this base plate, the shield plate, to the copper shielding. And it's not, as you can see, I'm just going to sling this in where it's not going anywhere. Our GPS antenna is stuck in there. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to turn it to from my view, it's a little easier. You don't need a full piece to start this. I use about 2/3 of a piece of the material. And that might be a little over 2/3. It's probably okay. It's probably better to be a little longer. I'm going to peel this off, as we'll do with every piece as we go. But this piece is particularly important. With this piece, our first piece, we're going to fold this over about 1/2 inch, or 10 millimeters, a centimeter, for you that on the metric system. Okay, the reason we're doing this is we don't want this sticky side. We want an area of our foil that is just hard and dry and copper. So we're going to stick that, this side here that don't have any of the sticky left, near the rear of our unit. Of course, we need to get something sticking, so let's burnish this down on both sides, and then kind of burnish this to where it contacts the rear of the rest of our shielding. And we've actually started putting there. The next piece I put in will be the piece I had left over. And what I'm going to do with this piece is pull this grounding area, tack it onto here and over this. We don't want any gaps in our foil. I'm hoping that I can do a fast forward in this thing, because there's a lot of cuts here. I'll do the best I can to show you guys all that I can. But keeping you here forever, watch me stick foil in here. Seal up everything best we can. I'm not worried about this not going down in that gap. You have to kind of keep moving your GPS unit around. It's not to pull on your coax. And to fully cover, burnish this all down really nice, seal it up good. Now I'm going to move her back over here and do the one on the other side. Doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to cover the whole inside of this shield. And it makes this hood become the whole entire hood become a shield. I use a lot of half pieces. It helps to position my material, not having to wrestle with it so much. Just overlap everything a little, 1/4 inch or so, I'm thinking. You can see I've left a tiny amount of this black edge up here. I don't think it's necessary to go all the way to this ridge. I like to stay as close as I can. And sometimes I do overlap, and I take the X-Acto and just trim it out slightly below that edge. I'm going to do the whole interior this way. I may be working kind of fast, so I do this pretty often. It may be your first time. More than likely, if you're watching this video, it is. So don't try to work at the pace I do. Just find your own pace. Pause this thing and try to learn. Now, a little bit of waste there. Quite a bit of overlap. I think that's okay. The point in this is to seal off this entire hood area. Feel like you're making the coating on the bottom of the lunar lander, if you're familiar or old enough to remember that. The beautiful gold or copper colored foil on the bottom of the lunar lander. On those, I think they still use it on the space station. clothing. It's got our two main long portions of our sides. Pretty quick. Could be faster, but fast enough. What I try to do on these ends, because of the way these stick out away from our edges, is I try to just turn that around and I make a really nice even top edge with this. So I kind of cut this up a little. The quadrants, more or less. And I get it right at the same height that I do all over everywhere else. We may be slightly above or below the other areas, but as long as we go near that top edge, we've made a good shield. Kind of wrinkle that to seal it down, and I'm going to pull that down in there, and I've sealed around those, yet I'm not outside of our cap so it gets unattractive looking. You don't want that old foil hanging out there. If you don't care, that's fine, but personally I don't. I don't want my customers to receive something that is that way, so either. That piece is a little low. I mean, I put some in there, maybe not. It's actually not that low. It's got our four around the front now. It's all sealed off nice, overlapped nicely. We'll work on our rear half. The antenna we'll work on toward the end, but I'm going to put one more piece here first. Have a little room there. Show you how we do the antenna. Just seal it back off. It's pretty simple. Give it a little thought. Anyway, it is. Seal our antenna up. You're amazed I've set up for a little while. I'm try to put that out the center. No, I'm not. I'm actually going to exit that toward the side a little so it goes away from our GPS unit. So our GPS unit's going to be mounting right here. Okay, that's covered up our exit point. And we'll keep covering up that wire as we go around. Go ahead and finish up the rear portion. Have a full. Go ahead and just run this around high like I normally would, even though I'm going to have a gap because I'll put some more foil down under that. My next goal is to cover up my bent in one piece. You have some sticky exposed outside of here. I haven't tried to figure out anything to do with that. To make that not be sticky. Even foil's like leaving us. Okay, that's our width. Extra foil, but we're not going to need it. You shouldn't need it. Neither should I. Get a nice even look in here. Got a little pinhole right there, but it's so way over in the corner, so it's not going to matter. Like I said, down it very evens a little bit on both sides. It gets covered, so it doesn't matter either. Save a little foil unless you want to seal that seam there with this small piece. A little line there left out. It also covered up our last little bit of hole. We're almost there as far as our foil goes. So I'll show you in a moment why I left all I did. Of the cable coming out the top of their center rear hole of our system. Our GPS wire out of our flight controller. Piece I'm going to cut off. Don't stick out the top anymore. Okay. The last thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to run some foil here to kind of finish this bow design almost like it would hold water. Brought that back through there. That's finishing our bowl shape and sealing off our area. Just use that last piece, but I'm going to not use it all. For mounting our antenna, which we'll do next, we want to face our port and link plugs to the rear. You could you could face those forward, but I face mine this way. Creates this nice little loop right here, generally with this 20 centimeter cable that's on the new tape. Little thing I do here is I put this side to side like this because of the bow in the material. The bow in here. I put one on and I overlap one onto it, onto the edges of our GPS like that, because there is a little swell down. This little overlap here, we'll let that go down in that swell and contact in a very large area versus a small area. And we'll use this piece to fasten this down. It doesn't have to be shielded. Well, I am going to shield it, but it doesn't need to be. Per instruction, it doesn't need to be, but I always shield them. But this piece is actually just hold that down. Plus, if it's not hanging loose, you're not going to get into it. I could have saved full on places. I wouldn't have had to use this extra piece. You guys shouldn't have to. I think that piece like being an extra piece. You're not going to catch your coax on something, while you're messing with it. It's secured down good everywhere. So there's our GPS mounted and our antenna mounted. I'll go ahead and throw this stuff away. Backing quick, and we'll throw the machine back on the table. Plug our hood into it, and we have, actually this is a finished machine, except for our props and spinner nuts, which I don't do until after the programming. It doesn't hurt to throw your props on there, your spinner nuts rather, with a little Loctite, because you don't want to get Loctite down inside your propellers. You want to leave that free of Loctite. So what we'll do now is the cord we put in very early in the build, our GPS cord, is going to plug into the port with the 5 little ridges are always up, the way XAircraft orients their wiring. So it makes it really consistent and easy to orient your plugs and put them in. Even in, well, there I'm saying how easy it is. I have a hard time. It's not actually hard, I just have a good hold. It starts, you can feel it get a little snug and just seat it real nicely. Don't worry about it coming out. Little trick I do is when I'm doing I can hook the nose of this thing up under there, and it sits on those 2 rear booms real nicely and don't fall. But it would if you bumped it a lot. But so that's got our GPS shielded, connected to our system. Our receiver's on. Our satellite's on down here. I've actually stuck our battery tray on, which I didn't show you. I just centered it and stuck it onto the boom mounts. I guess I'll flip that over and show it. Tuck this a little forward so that you know it's not getting caught. You can actually look up in there and see it to make sure. Snapping down. Nothing's in the way anywhere. Nothing's getting caught. I have a solidified lid on there. There's that pretty, like that look right there. Machine, and here's our battery mount up under here. I just went by the 4 bolts on the flight controller and the pivot points and mounted this centered under the aircraft for now.